Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome into episode number 72 of Clark After Dark right here live and direct on RaceON.com. Folks, we got a good one for you here tonight, and we are getting closer and closer and certainly getting excited to kick off our racing season around the Arklatex region. We've got a good guest with us here tonight. Of course, my co-host of this podcast, Cortland Smith from Alexandria, will join us here momentarily. And our guest tonight, the longtime voice of the Rocket Raceway Park, used to announce here locally around the Texarkana area. He's announced just about all the Arklatex area racetracks. Now going to move on to announce the American Crate Late Model Series this season. That'll be featured live on RaceON every single event. Certainly looking forward to that. My good friend Chase Lollar will join us tonight. And again, my co-host of this podcast, I'll go ahead and bring him on now, Cortland Smith. Cortland, I didn't give you the long spiel on the old intro tonight, but Dirt Car Nationals just concluded, man, with the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, of course. And Lucas Oil Late Models will kick off their season this weekend at Alltech. They'll have practice tomorrow night. Of course, the World of Outlaws moves on to Hendry County. And locally, we've got Hunt County kicking off their season here in the great state of Texas over in Greenville with Outlaw Modifieds. First up, man, how are you tonight?
Doing well, friend. Getting through the old Mardi Gras shenanigans of the weekend down here in the old Dirty Boot. You know, it's a good thing and sometimes a bad thing sometimes, because if you're all about Mardi Gras, then you go have you a good time, go watch the parade and watch the floats. If you're not all about it, then you just got obstructions in the way all day Sunday if you're trying to get somewhere in town, needless to say. But we got through that, man. It was a good time. A lot of people had a good time. Obviously, most everybody stayed safe from what I can see. We didn't have nothing too crazy happened. The good times were rolling. And like you said, man, we're right into race season. Daytona 500 happened. Your man, Tyler Reddick, picks up the dub. Dirt car. I mean, we're going to claim him in the dirt track world. You can say whatever you want. Dirt late model guy. We're going to claim him as one of them. But, it sat back, enjoyed the Daytona 500. And like you said, man, it's, we're right there on the cusp. We're right there on the cusp of racing season getting kicked off. And, I don't know, man. I'm just more anxious and I don't know if it's anxious, excitement, whatever it is. It's been too long since I've been at a racetrack, and I'm ready to get back to one myself, friend. I'll put it to you like that's how I'm doing right now. Let's get to a racetrack, friend.
See, I love it. You took care of the notes, like the Daytona 500 and some of those things. I knew I could rely on you to bring that up. And dude, we are proud, right? Like the dirt community has adopted Tyler Reddick, and it's not like we just found that out yesterday. Like we've ridden with Tyler throughout his entire career, and I love his career trajectory and the path that he took, because it was more unorthodox than most, right? Like he went and ran the Arcas for a little bit. He ran the Truck Series, won a championship, ran Xfinity for Brad Keselowski Racing. I think he actually ran for BKR in the Truck Series. But I mean, he literally climbed the ladders, and then ended up getting the ride for Richard Childress, and then he ends up getting the ride here with 2311 and Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin. It's just really, really cool for him to see his career come full circle to win the Daytona 500. And you could see how much it really means to him. And one of the things that I really enjoyed in his post-race press conference, Cortland, was, after he won, was it Michigan last year? I'm trying to remember the track, but it was right after Scott had passed, and he had mentioned Scott in his Victor Lane. But during his post-race in the Daytona Infield Center Sunday afternoon, he had mentioned Scott, and he talked about Steve Baker and Mark Richards and Rocket Chassis. And I just thought that was so cool. I mean, really, for him to never forget where he came from, and he knows his roots. And I think that's why so many people love Tyler Reddick. He's always been relatable. I want to tell you a quick story. Back in 2011, it was 2011, Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series came to Lone Star Speedway. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the podcast before, because I talked about that was the race that Shannon Babel 93 laps, right? Got a flat tire on the left rear with 7 laps to go. Scott Bloomquist ends up getting him. Bloomquist wins the race. And I'll never forget, though, Tyler Reddick won a heat race that night, and he was just impressive. Like, I mean, the kid gets out that long, wavy hair, and all the fans there that were all Scott Bloomquist fans, like, I think a lot of people really, really, like, migrated towards this kid and really, like, fell in love with him because they felt like it was Scott reincarnated, right? Like, when you saw him and he has these flowing locks. I know Scott didn't have red hair, but it really did kind of look like a little young Scott Bloomquist, right? Reincarnated. But yeah, I got to watch that young man race live and direct in person, and I'll never forget that because he was impressive that night. I'll never forget James Essex, the California kid, Tyler Reddick. It's just stuff that you will never forget. But man, just great memories. And I'm proud to say that I did get to watch him mix it up on the dirt before he moved to NASCAR. So really cool to see him win that race.
Yeah, I wish I would have pulled it out of storage. I got a shirt somewhere. I got a Tyler Reddick, the California Kid t-shirt, and I actually got an autograph from him at Batesville one year when he was running. So I got that shirt somewhere, probably just skyrocketed in value, honestly, but I need to go dig it out and find it. It does not fit no more. I was probably about 12 when I got that autographed, and I was probably bigger than he was. But I got an autograph from Tyler Reddick, the California kid. Yeah, super excited. And not even that, man. Like, it's some people may like it, may not. The fact that you got Michael Jordan in victory lane at the Daytona 500, like the integration in sports, like I'm a big fan of it. And the fact that you see Michael Jordan's team, I know Denny Hamlin's a part of it as well, but just to have the name Michael Jordan is plastered on that as well. And like, publicity is publicity, good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like it or not. It's going to get a lot more attention because Michael Jordan's name is on the side of that car, and he runs around with an Air Jordan theme half the year sometimes. So again, man, shout out to Tyler Reddick. Like you said, the progress, the way his career ran through, and the steps he had to take to get there, and always, like you said, was very humble, true to his roots. Like he's the same dude now as he was 10 years ago. Just a really cool dude. I'm not saying I ever hung out with him, but just one of those guys that you really seem like you want to go hang out with because he's the same after he wins the Daytona 500 or on a Friday night watching a college football game. He's just the same dude all throughout. Really happy for him and his success, man. It was really cool to see. I had a couple parlays put on the Daytona 500. I did not have him picked to win, but that's okay, friend. I'll take Tyler Reddick snubbing me out of my $10 parlay if that meant he got to win the Daytona 500.
Well, I'll tell you what, and that would be a great time to bring on our guest tonight, Chase Lollar, the voice of, formerly the voice of Rocket Raceway Park. I'm sure he'll still announce quite a few of their events, but he's got around 30 or 30 plus American Crate Late Model Series events this season. Chase, I want to kind of ask you about the NASCAR thing because we're talking about it now. First, did you have any money on any drivers, and did you win anything at the Daytona 500 the other day?
Man, I did. Reddick actually pocketed me about $46 off of a $2 or $3 bet on Kalshi. So I had some other bets on there too. So I really only made about $26. But hey, I'll take what I can.
Well, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Chase Lollar. He's out of Red Lick, Texas. And if you ever announce him anything other than Red Lick, he'll be disappointed and he will be quick to correct you. And Red Lick Mafia all day, every day. Okay, he rides and he lives it. But truly, one of my dear good friends, man. Chase and I have went through a lot of the same things in our life, and we're not going to go through a lot about, and go deep into all that tonight. But one thing I'll say before we really get started into this thing is this is a great dude, and I'm super proud to have him on this podcast tonight because I'm proud of him as a person because he's a hell of a great announcer, but he's even a better friend. So I'm happy to have him on tonight. Chase, man, you called the races at Rocket these last couple of years, and man, Cortland knows as soon as this American Crate Late Model Series schedule came out, like I sent him a message and I sent him the screenshot of the schedule. I was like, dude, if I'd have known this American Crate Late Model Series had this banger of a schedule, I was like, I'd have maybe tried to beat my boy Chase to the punch to get this thing. But man, I was really excited for you to see that you got it, dude. You've got to be thrilled about this season coming up, man. Like I said, 30 plus races at like 10 different racetracks. First up, man, how excited are you about this season, getting to call the action for this series?
Man, it's an honor for one to get to do a series like the American Crate Late Model Series. It's something that I wanted to pursue. Like you said, I've been at Rocket for the last few years and have enjoyed that and have done the announcing side for multiple tracks over the last 6 or 7 years, but never got to do a series, man. So the schedule came out. It's officially 22 races over 10 tracks, I think, total. So I like your high number. We're not quite to 30 yet, but I like that. But I look forward to it, man. It's going to be a big kickoff weekend down in y'all's part of the region, Louisiana, down at Sabine and Boot Hill Speedway on March 20th and 21st. But to get a chance like this, man, I appreciate Donnie and them, allowing me to come on and kind of take over that role for the series. Hopefully can help bridge the gap between the drivers and the fans. That's one thing I look forward to. When you're track announcing, you're at the track all the time or just for the track. It's so many different moving parts and pieces versus focusing on just a certain class and series week in and week out when we get to race. So I look forward to getting to know those drivers, having some closer relationships than you can sometimes get when you're bouncing from track to track and stuff like that.
What are you most excited about this season? Is it that part, kind of getting to connect with some of these drivers and get to tell their stories, or is it getting to go to some of these racetracks maybe you've never ventured to, or maybe it's getting back to a track you haven't been to in a while? What are kind of some of the key things that, made you want to take this position, and what are some of the things that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, the getting to know the drivers, those relationships definitely is something I've always enjoyed. I like storytelling, man, and I like it to be accurate and truthful. You know what I'm saying? So getting to know them better and getting to express those stories, do different things in interviews with the drivers that we can release on RaceOn's platform or on the American Crate Late Model Series Facebook page, stuff like that, really excites me. On the more selfish side, as far as me, the return to getting to announce at 67, man. It's my home track. I grew up here with State Line Speedway and 67 Speedway, so I miss those days. When I was at 67, like we kind of said when you opened it here with me, we won't get too much into it, but I wasn't living right, man. I burned a lot of bridges with a lot of people locally, and I've got to repair, I think, most of those, maybe not all of them. But that wasn't me, man. It wasn't the true me over that little short time that I got to be at 67. And I would say the same thing about Sabine and Boot Hill when I got to go down there and announce as well, man. I was not living right and made a lot of mistakes. And I look forward to returning there as a different person, a better person, and getting to do a good job, hopefully. And then the tracks like I haven't been to, Southern Oklahoma Speedway, Abilene, those are kind of two that I've circled. I've always wanted to go up to Southern Oklahoma Speedway. I haven't had the chance. Abilene's not one I'm as familiar with, but I want to go and check it out. Everything else on the schedule, I think I've at least been to, if not announced that. So those are kind of the two that stand out for me.
So you talk about you wanting to relay, get to know the drivers more, Chase. Go ahead and give us a little roster preview, if you do, of the ACLMS series this year. Do you got a kind of an idea of a roster of drivers that are going to be following the tour?
Yeah, and I think you're going to have a lot of repeat guys that have been there. Denny Gabar, Patrick Daniel, Bo Begno's coming off of a two-peat for the championship, so he'll look to get 3 in a row. Robbie Starnes has been one to watch. You've got a lot of your normals, again, that'll be back that run with the series, and then we'll get to see these guys that hop in and out. Like when we come over to Louisiana, you got the Rob Littons, the Corey Neal Jr., stuff like that, David Winslet. I'll look forward to those as well. So you've got the series drivers that I'll get to follow and kind of know, and then the other locals that just show up when we're in their area and stuff. That'll be fun because there's a lot of these guys I follow. Winslet, I've seen win so many times it's not even funny. And I love watching him, and I love the Louisiana racing, man. It's really exciting there. Back over to that too, Case and Caps, a rookie man that in his rookie campaign had 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s, finished in the top 5 in points. So I look forward to seeing what he can do this season. I don't know what other rookies maybe are going to be coming over, but there is a Rookie of the Year point fund as well, presented by Texas General Mechanical. You've got, I think, no more than 6 nights in a late model. You're able to join that if you run with us there. So get to see some hopefully new up-and-comers like we've got to see Case and Caps shine so much last year, coming from the junior limited modifieds, champion at Rocket, champion at Hunt, junior limited modified national winner. Man, he jumped in that late model. It wasn't like he wasn't that junior limited modified for those years, but it was his first season. That's kind of what you expect, and he still did shine. I really thought he was going to get one at Grayson County Speedway there towards the end of the year, and he didn't, but wasn't for lack of trying. I know that.
Yeah, he was really impressed. I didn't know. Go ahead, Cortland. Go ahead. You're fine.
No, you're good. No, you can talk about Case and Caps. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
he was on a Court's Corner. He was on a Court's Corner segment. I was going to go. That's what I was going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, he absolutely was. And it's funny you were going to say that because I want to say that Case and Caps, he was on a section of Court's Corners on here. You were giving him all kinds of credit last year because, it wasn't long ago you and I were sitting in the booth together at Hunt or Rocket. And I mean, this kid is wowing us in the junior limiteds. And wasn't it though, when the mic was off, Chase, I was up there telling you this kid's too good to be running this class. That's what I tell you. Like, and that's nothing but a testament to him, right? Like how many times did I turn the mic off and say, this kid needs to be running something else? And I totally get it. And I totally respected why his dad made him run out the entire season in that class, because you could see it tenfold the next year. He gained a lot of car control, racecraft, and experience. And to see all that kind of stuff turn tenfold for him, that for me, Chase, that's what fires me up about racing. It's watching young kids like Case and Caps, like you alluded to, get up and get going. So those are the kind of things that I look for. Like if I'm going to be the announcer of a series, it's telling that kid's story, which you've been able to watch his whole career, right? From the start all the way up until now. Yeah. And you'll get to continue watching push the progression. That's one thing I'd be fired up about. Another thing that the Gulf South Crate Late Model Series, right? It's been up and going. You mentioned Rob Litton a moment ago. He's a 4-time SUPR Late Model Super Champ. He'd been getting this series up and going. Well, now it's not going to, I think they made an announcement right a couple of weeks ago that the Gulf South series isn't running this year. So I'm really expecting your fields to be pretty healthy all season long due to the fact that this Gulf South series, like you kind of mentioned a moment ago, you'll get some of these Louisiana guys, but I'm expecting a good bit of these Louisiana Arklatex area guys maybe to potentially run this thing full time because of, their schedule is going to be wide open with the departure of this series. So, man, hopefully you guys will pick up a nice car count. That should be pretty cool.
You know, and especially with a lot of the events being right here in the kind of mid to northeast Texas area. You know, I think the furthest west we go is going to be Abilene. The furthest south was going to, well, I guess now it's going to be more in the DFW area. But it's local enough, like you said, for those guys to join. Hate to see, you know, that fall apart over there. But it'll definitely, I think, help the crate late model side on our end and kind of grow that. And we'll see how many come over and join us. We got a lot of big events, man. We talked about the kickoff for the Bayou Bash, March 20th, 21st in Sabine at Boot Hill. But then you've got like the 5th annual Jerry Ship Memorial is going to be at Hunt County Raceway again this year. $2,500 to win, $450 to start. So I think that's one of the bigger start money purses that we have on the season. But we've got a lot of big events. The Lone Star Freedom Speed Weeks this year. Hopefully we'll get that full show in. Last year we tried to do that. If you remember, Rocket got rained out. We got Hunt and Grayson County in. They got that back. Now it's Rocket, Hunt, and then Grayson kind of on that July 4th weekend. The late model nationals to end the season will be at Rocket Raceway Park October 16th and 17th. That was at Grayson County last year, and Patrick Daniels swept it, but that'll move to Rocket this year to end the crate late model season for the American Crate Lates. And the Doug Ingles Classic, man, down there at Vivian, can't forget that. Well, speaking of this, which way here? This is the night we lost Billy Robinson. Man, this picture means a lot to me. This is the first night that I ever got to announce. I was doing a radio deal that was like, or before podcast, like an early record online kind of deal and release. And I was there, and Bill Kitchen invited me up, and I'm in the booth up there. Bill's in the booth. Steve Cape's in the booth. And of course, this is the night we lost Billy. He was leading the feature there. Was several laps to go, I imagine. And then we kind of all know the story there. I think it was the 10th annual Tootsie Smith Memorial. Correct me if I'm wrong.
September 23rd, 2017. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so that, I may have missed that one earlier when we were talking about tracks I'm looking forward to go back to, just because, it's kind of where the adventure started for me. But it's also was etched in my mind because of losing Billy. It was a very emotional night.
I'll never forget that, the night Billy passed. Cortland, I'm gonna still throw it to you. I just had to jump in on that, man, because I remember you texting me that night, right? Because I was announcing at Heart of Texas in Waco for the Brian Mize Memorial, and man, if I'd had ever thought that we'd have lost Billy that night, I don't even know. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I've told people this many times that what the craziest thing about it is I went to eat at Margaritaville that Thursday before I left town with Miss Kathy and Billy Robinson. That Thursday we were at Margaritaville, and then I left to go out of town, and then he's gone. But like, I'll always cherish that last memory that I had with him. But like, it's crazy, man. I really love that guy. I really did. I looked up to him a lot, and I know how much that race means to you, and I knew that night that it happened. It's crazy how fast time flies too, man. It's been 9 years already, which is just absolutely insane. And I know his wife, Miss Kathy, misses him as much as she did the day that she lost him. So yeah, it's just wild times, man. But anyway, go ahead, Cortland. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say he was going to roll right into it. Yeah, it's good. No, It was going to roll right into it. How did you get started in all this, Chase? You mentioned like that night being one of your first nights. Like, give your background. What's your racing history? Grew up around it your whole life. Like, go ahead, give us the backstory of Chase the Ace, and let us know how you got here and how you ended up here.
Oh man, that name has a bad taste in my mouth a little bit, but that's okay. We'll allow it for right now, Cortland. I kid. It just I separate that just because, again, that was the old me, and then we're at the new me when I came back after taking a couple years off. But hey, your history is part of what makes you, so it is what it is. I learned a lot of lessons during that time, but rewind behind that, man. I did grow up at the tracks. Kind of Zach alluded to it earlier at the start about the Red Lick Mafia, Red Lick Racing. I grew up here in Red Lick, chasing around Alan Roy, Lanny Norton, Kevin McGonigal, Kyle Markham, several of the Red Lick guys and the little Red Lick crew that raced, man. And it was State Line Speedway, probably Speed Bowl too, but I was young in diapers then. I don't remember that, but State Line I remember. And then, Meadowlands opened up down the road, AK 67 Speedway, Mandeville. We were there every week, man, through high school. I can remember getting into fights in the stands between Alan Roy and Steve Ward on the track, or Kevin McGonigal and Chris Riggs on the track. So we were wild ones out there, man. Growing up with Aaron Roy, Adam Roy, the Roy boys, the Clemenses. It was several of us, man. But yeah, it was just a passion from the get-go. And then Zach knows this guy. Rest in peace, Big Daddy, Robert Rankin, man, good buddy. Was announcing with Shooty at 67 Speedway, had a radio show up here with Robinette and Shooty at one time in Texarkana. Was a big-time race fan, and he got me into doing high school football on the radio. And as that grew, we were both dirt track fans, so that got us into doing this MixLR radio, basically a podcast, but it wasn't called that at the time. And I would go to Timberline, and I would like announce the races live from the backstretch, watching it, and then we would do interviews and stuff, and then put it on there a few days later. And it was really cool, but that grew. And again, I was at Arklatex one night. I was doing racing with the Red Lick Mafia at that night, actually. And Steve Cape and Bill Kitcher up there. And Bill called me and said, come up to the booth and holler at me. And he offered me a chance to announce a couple races. And I got to do the Pro Mod heats and the Pro Mod feature and the whole Billy Robinson thing like we talked about. And it kind of just grew from there, man. Bill allowed me to come over and do the Armadillo Nationals over at Lone Star Speedway in Kilgore at the time. So I got to announce there for a while. Did the announcing for 67 for about a year for Billy White at Timberline, Diamond Park Speedway for Fonzo Tidwell, Jeremy Dillard at Sabine, which was at the time Showtime Speedway, and then Boot Hill for Ricky Burke. And those are a lot of special relationships, to me that allowed me to get into this and just being a diehard fan, man. I was always in the stands and I would never shut up talking about it. So they're like, hey man, why don't you put a mic in front of you and talk? And I was like, okay, we can do that. And just kind of grew from there, man. I love being part of it. I never thought I would do this. And the high school football thing is something I want to get back into because that really was a lot more enjoyable than I thought as well. It's kind of hard though, running on Friday nights a lot towards the end of the year around here. That's when high school football is going on, and it's not easy to do that if you're going to pick up a team and do a full season. But I just enjoy trying to describe it, talk about it. The radio is a whole different animal, of course, because you're painting the whole picture, and that was really, really fun. There's a lot of support behind high school football in these local towns, as you can imagine, just like the racing community is. So it's just kind of part of what helped me fall into this and kind of be a fan of it too.
So take me back. Me and Zach did this the other night, and then I'll let Zach have you. Take me back. What's the one night you wish you could relive at a racetrack, whether it's announcing or when you were a kid in the grandstands? Me and Zach did this maybe last episode or 2 episodes before. What's the one night you wish you could go back and relive at a racetrack?
Man, put me on the spot with that one. The one that comes to mind, and I hope I have my story completely straight because it's been so long. One night at I don't know if it was Mandeville or at State Line. It's been so long ago. Kevin Cave Monkey McGonigal drove an 8X Camaro street stock and was a badass. I mean, he was winning left and right. He was a great guy and part of the Red Lick crew. And Cave Monkey, that's it, man. And one night in the feature, something happened. I don't remember if he got spun out or what it was. He was leading, had to restart at the back, halfway through it, field of like 28 cars, huge field like it was back in the day with the old street stocks. And this son of a gun, man, came back and from the back it was like 10 laps or less and drove all the way to second. He didn't get first. He got it all the way to second, didn't get that caution. But what was memorable about it was the fans loved him. And when he came out of the last corner after winning the race, he comes down the front stretch, leaves the car rolling, gets out of it and gets on top of the car and starts beating his chest like a monkey. And it was great, man. As a kid, it was just one of the coolest things I'd ever seen, somebody do for a second place finish. And that being said, man, it was just my love for being around those guys in the Red Lick crew. There's so many memories. I've got Victory Lane pictures with a bunch of people I grew up with in front of his cars, Lanny Norton and stuff, man. And that just, that's what the camaraderie in racing, the friendship, the familyness, man, is what this is all about for me. And I'm not going to lie, like God rest Alan Roy's soul, but I was so mad when I found out him and Steve Ward were friends because we used to get into fights over the shit in the stands. And they were like, yeah, we were just playing it up is what we were doing. We were really cool. Then they worked together later on and stuff. And I was like, what the hell are we doing? So
yeah, that's badass. That was really good stuff right there, Chase. Like that may have been the best detailed response to one of those questions we've ever had. That was really good shit. So thank you for sharing. That was awesome.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah, I want to ask if you got another one to talk away. But so I was going to mention this earlier. Obviously, we talked about you taking this American Crate Late Model Series. You've been the voice of Rocket. Was it the last 2 or 3 years? I think it was 2 full seasons. but maybe it was 3. Yeah, 3 years.
Yeah, 3.
But anyway, man, like a lot like, I have, you have, we develop relationships with people, right? Like Christy, Valerie, whether she's there working the camera for RaceON. Brunson's become a really good friend of yours. Like I talk to you daily. I know you talk to Brunson daily. They like, our racing family does truly become our family. And like I said, I mentioned those few, and there's more people I could, list their names off. But how was it difficult for you to make this decision to, but I know you'll still have Rocket, right? Whenever you're not, you'll be able to go to Rocket on your off weekends. Yeah. But was it kind of difficult for you to make this decision? Because, a lot of this stuff is about family, right? Like sometimes you'll go to Rocket and you'll go over there on a Friday, for a Saturday race. You'll go over there and hang out on Friday with Brunson before the races. Like, I'm sure this will be something new for you, and try to get used to this new schedule and things. But are you excited about this new, I already asked you if you're excited about it. You said yes, but you have to make a new path here. But are you still excited to get back to Rocket when you can to hang out with your old friends?
For sure, man. And I think I'll have to look back at the schedule since there were some slight tweaks on the crate late model side. But I think about 5 races is what I'll end up missing over there. And yes, it was, man. Like I said, the series thing is something I wanted. I actually got in Donnie's ear probably around the summertime of last year about saying, hey, look, if you're looking to do a series announcer kind of deal, I'm looking to make some changes. I don't want to, leave what I'm doing, because it works out on that side with Hunt, because of course Donnie and Josh Landers run Hunt County Raceway, right? So it makes it easier there. But with Rocket, man, it was a real worry that I don't want to say like I'm going to lose the job. I don't want to say it like that, but it was a worry that I wouldn't be able to continue to be a part of what they've built over there, right? Like Kevin Sester holds a special place in my heart for him allowing me to come back and step back into racing to announce. And I got to be there a couple seasons with him, and now under the RaceON banner with Chris David and everybody. And like you said, the family we've grown over there. I mean, Christy, Val, Kevin Fry, Jenny Fry, Chris Brunson, the whole crew, man. Just everybody that jumps in on the cameras, whether it's Cody Lewis, Tanner, Alec, it's cool to catch up with those guys and see Chris and Harry, and the wives at the track for Chris and Harry. It is a big family over there, man. And that one was tough in that sense that I didn't want to, miss out on that. I knew it was something that might happen, and that was going to be okay if it did. But I have so much fun going over there. You're right. It's used to be, I get up, I get ready, I go to the track, get there early, do my stuff, announce, and get out of there and go home, right? Now, it's planned around Burgerland before the race is over there to get that hamburger happiness, right? Yes. Go maybe to the Choctaw Casino, who knows? But a lot of times I stay the night there and hang out with them the next day and stuff, man. So it is. And like I said, that's big with me on the family side. And I'm glad that Chris David's going to allow me to stay part of the Rocket family, and we'll just fill those gaps in when needed, because it was worrisome, man. It's something that I've been proud to be a part of. Rocket's put on some great racings. It's a stellar venue, man. The place is awesome. The racing more times than not is awesome as well. So I didn't want to miss out on that, and I'm glad it kind of worked out that there's not a lot of conflict in the schedule.
Yeah, hey, and props to you for going about and putting a schedule together and not overbooking. Like, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying, like, there's, announcers can tend to overbook and not worry about how that affects other people around, and it can create a shitstorm. You did things the right way, so props to you on that. Man, I was really bummed out about this Longhorn Roundup getting canceled a couple of weeks ago, right? Like, we were going to run for $10,000 to win, $1,000 to start. Outlaw Mods at Hunt County. Cortland was going to join us over there. He's going to be pit reporting. We were going to be we were fired up about it, just really excited to get back to racing. And I love Hunt as it is, right? Every USMTS race I've ever seen, or really any Outlaw Mod race I've ever seen in Greenville, has been badass, right? But man, that deal got canceled, unfortunately, because of the weather / like what the hell is going on with modified drivers right now. I'm not sure what the hitch in their giddy up was, but to say all that, to say this, we do have 1,000 win this weekend for Outlaw Mods at Hunt County. And that is something to look forward to, man, to finally get the season kicked off, as we got to get the bad taste of our mouth that we couldn't run for 10 grand a couple of weekends ago. Right.
Yeah, for sure. And I was bummed, man, because anytime I get to share a booth with you, Zach, we have probably more fun than we should. And then Cortland, I haven't got to see Cortland in years, so it's been cool to get that done. Hopefully we'll get to do something down the road, and them trying to bring this event back. Like you said, the registration part, and then the weather ended up being the right call anyway, right? Because it was a turd floater this past Saturday. So it just didn't work out. But I was excited about that one. Like you said, we got 1,000 win mods this weekend. 750 to win factories and limited Bs as well. Junior limiteds and ecos are on the schedule too. So weather looks a lot better. And February racing is not something I'm really used to. In the last few seasons, I think every Eiffel Tower Classic has been rained out that I've got to try to announce. I think there might have been one that we got in there. But it's just a crapshoot this time of year. But I'm looking forward to get us kicked off, man. Like you said, we got Hunt this weekend. Rocket kicks off the next weekend, so we'll be over there for the shakedown. So just looking forward to getting it started.
Looking forward to getting the season started by all means. I'm right there with you, Chase. I don't know if you heard me in the intro. Like, I'm ready to be at a racetrack too, friend. I was really bummed out. The Longhorn got canceled as well. But, you talk about you're excited. Is there anything that you're nervous about? You mentioned about making sure everything was good with Rocket, but like going on tour, like you got to travel to all these places. You got to keep up with all this stuff. I mean, you got to give the qualifying spill when they go out there and qualify. Is there anything that you're nervous about going into this season following the ACLMS tour?
I would say until we get a few races under my belt, I'm sure I'll have a little bit of anxiety just about the process. Zach knows as much as I do. I hate going into a track and not knowing about the audio or what we have or don't have, or a wireless mic so we can interview the top 3 on the track afterwards, stuff like that. So I got a little anxiety about that because all tracks are different, right? And you never know till you show up. So that's part of it. And I'm not going to lie, I'll put out a little bit about myself. I get anxiety around people a lot, man. So being in a booth and talking on a mic is very comfortable for me. You can throw Zach in there with me, and me and Zach know each other well enough that I'm pretty comfortable with him. But other people, man, and outsiders, I get real anxious about it. And I don't know, it's just part of it, and I'm able to just swallow it and go on through, right? But being in different booths with different people at the time you're announcing and having your focus on what you're needing to do and having other people around will be something I'll have to get used to because I'm used to just being in there by myself for the most part. At both Hunt and Rocket, I got my own little box and I can close the door and I'm just there, right? The scorers and everybody else is over on the other side. So I don't know, Zach, I don't know if you can relate to that at all when you started or at all now, but that's something that still gets to me that you just got to power through, right? So but that would be about it. Other than that, it's just pure excitement. But that's where a little bit of nerves lie. I will say I feel kind of nervous too, maybe about figuring out announcing only qualifying, heat races and a feature. You usually have this whole night to build up, and now I've got these windows that I've got to figure out and make sure I get all the info I need to get out there, whether it's the story I'm telling about a driver that week or whether it's the sponsors or something or whatever. You've got a very limited window versus the whole night, right? So that again, a little bit nervous, but again, it'll all be a learning curve. I'm sure I won't be perfect. I'll screw some things up along the way, but one thing I can guarantee is I'll get better and better, learn from my mistakes, and not make them again. So I'm pretty good at that, at least.
Dude, I can relate to that 100%. Going to the racetrack and being the track announcer and knowing that you're showing up to announce every class and being prepared to do so is a totally different ball game. Even if you show up and you're prepared, like last season, I went to Lucas and announced USMTS. And when I got done announcing the heat race, I told Todd Staley, I said, I don't remember exactly what I said. I mean, I didn't like hate on myself, but I was like, fuck, man, I got to get, excuse my language, I got to get in a groove here. Like it's really hard whenever you sit back for an hour and a half and you watch street stocks, you watch this class and you watch this class and the other guys there announcing the races and you just got to jump right in action. And that's fine. Like I can usually jump in, but sometimes it does take a little bit of lube to get me going, right? Like I got to get going. Like I maybe need to get a door-to-door battle or I need to get a slide job in there to get me going a little bit, if like we come in there and we fall flat on our face and we're single fire for 4 heats and then I got to come out and announce 2 B mains, like, man, I gotta get fired up somehow, some way. You know what I mean? And I don't prefer to fire myself up, if that makes sense. Like I prefer the action on the racetrack to be the thing that fires me up. But sometimes you just gotta fake it till you make it, big dog. And that's what our job is, right? Like you gotta make the non-exciting exciting, and that's what it's all about. You gotta make maybe the most boring race in your mind that you've ever called sound like the most exciting race you've ever called. And hey, you're great at it, and that's why they ask you to do this job. And dude, I'm fired up for you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Maybe I mean, anyway, we'll talk about that when we get there, but maybe I'll get to call a heat race or 2 with you at some point this year. We'll see what happens, but not stepping on your toes.
I'm sure.
No,
I'm sure.
This is off the cuff here. And this could be related to anything. Like it could be NASCAR. Just give me one bold prediction. Give me one bold prediction for this season of motorsports. It could be dirt track. I mean, you could say this, your bold prediction could be Dalton Faulkner finally wins the King of the Hill, which wouldn't be a really good bold prediction, to be honest. I'm just freelancing off the top of my head, but give me a bold prediction for this racing season. It could be for the American Crate Late Model. I don't care what it is. Just give me a bold prediction or a hot take.
So, one that I've been watching progress, we talked about case and caps. So kind of in the same mannerism of that, or same alleyway of that, Riley Barnes. I really look for him to take a huge step this season, going to the stock car mainly. The Eco Mod, I think, is already there. He jumped from the junior limited Eco Mod. Almost had him a win up in Oklahoma, and he got spun out coming out of turn number 4, got that win taken away, right? So he had several good runs in the Eco Mod, and he's made the transition to stock car. And I think the more time he gets, man, between Michael Smith, Aaron Barnes, Jeremy Fodge, the crew he's got around them helping over there, Randy Hoover, I think they all kind of pitch in and help together, man. Jared Brown, again, it's part of the racing family that I've got to know over there at Rocket. But Riley Barnes has done a lot of good things in his short career, and I look for him to maybe have some breakout wins this season, mainly the stock car. The Eco Mod wouldn't be as much of a hot take maybe because, again, I think that the expectations are already there. The stock car is something totally different to him. So I really look for him to have a breakout season. Outside of that, man, I don't know if I have any other hot takes or anything that I can think of. I'm a big NASCAR fan. I'm trying to think of anything there. But I think we're going to be chalking NASCAR for another season or two. So I don't know if I have anything there for you.
Well, to roll on with the predictions, we're going to do strictly the ACLMS deal. What's your one bold? I say bold prediction, not bold, but what are you expecting out of this year? Are you expecting a Bo Begnaud to go in there and kick clean sweep again? Are you expecting a Case and Caps to come out here and pick up a dub and contend? Or PD got on a hot streak? Is he committed full time? Like, what is Chase Lollar looking into it right now as we sit going into 2026? Where do you see this season shaking up? Which I know you can't pick favorites. People might get mad about that, but what is it looking like? What's brainstorming up in your head there, big guy?
Well, I think you hit on a lot of it. The Case and Caps is going to continue to have a breakout season in the second season. Little Robbie Starnes came on real strong several times with the series. I look for him to have some big runs. Patrick Daniel, when you said that name, the big thing I think that stands out for me on PD is he is 2 wins away from tying the most wins in the series, 3 to take it over. That's right now owned by Dean Abbey with 12 wins, and PD's up to 10 now. So I look for him to have a big season. Man, PD has such a great couple seasons between the crate late models and the big block modified stuff. Every time he jumped in a car, it seems like he was right up front and winning. And like I say, he ended the last season with 2 wins on the late model nationals at Grayson County Speedway on back-to-back nights, right? So he's got the momentum there. Again, he's at 10 wins on the total for the series. I really think he'll have a good enough season to probably take that and maybe even get a championship. We'll see. Bo for a three-peat is one of those that's, I'm not going to say it's a lot because it's not, but it's one of those where if you're putting money on it, man, you're not going to win as much on that bet as you are on betting on some of these other cats, right? So, but it's going to be fun. Denny Gabar was another one, man, that had several good runs last season. And I hope he's back for it full time. Denny G's a fun one. But those are kind of the ones that stand out. And then, of course, I expect some Louisiana guys to steal some thunder. Again, like we talked about earlier, Winslet, Litt, and Neal Jr., when they show up, are always contenders. And I look to see maybe some first-timers this year. We'll just have to see how it plays out as how many local guys we get in different areas when we get to go to these tracks.
Absolutely. Dude, you were awesome tonight, Chase. Thanks for coming on the podcast, man. I've been wanting to have you on. I told you a couple of weeks ago. Podcast Tuesday, a few weeks. And, man, I know you had to have I don't mean to tell all your business, but I know you had a couple teeth pulled and you were down and out there for a little bit. So I'll let you get all healed up.
Yeah.
The boy just had to get a tooth pulled. So I know very well how that goes. So I had to make sure you were tip top before you came on tonight, man. Thanks so much for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to add before you ship you out of here?
No, man, I just want to say, thank you for allowing me to come on, man. Zach, we've been friends for a long time, buddy, and I really appreciate seeing what you're doing for racing with this podcast and at the tracks and stuff, man. And it's been a pleasure. You too, Cortland. Good to see you grow with RaceON and all the different things that you're doing, man. It's been awesome to see as well. And you're right. I had the teeth pulled. I'm all better. Had some back teeth I had to get rid of. They were already gone. Had a lot going on here lately, man, between my mom, God bless her heart, got some stuff going on that we're working through. My dog, spinal fusion surgery, scoliosis. And we're doing good there. We're a few weeks out now, and she'll go back to school in a few weeks. So it's just been one thing after another, but that's life, right? So, but I appreciate it, man. And one last thing, I'm going to give a quick rundown like the drivers do, because in the thanking of the chances of getting into the American Crate Late Models this series, there's a lot of people that help put that on, right? Between the $30,000 point fund, the Rookie of the Year. So I'm going to try to hit them all and run it down here real quick. So RaceON, of course, Champ Pans, Maxima Racing Oils, Bobcat in North Texas, Smileys, Pinnacle Roofing Construction, Bulletproof Tees, Cliffs Goodyear Auto Service, Pest Matrix, Extreme Graphics, Love Graphics, Sherman Chevrolet, Hoosier Tire, Southwest, FabX, Rogers Dash Performance Parts, Jones Supply Manufacturer, Deathridge Racing Competition, Baker Rib, Spear Glass and Mirrors, and of course Donnie Ship and Ray and them for allowing me to come on with the series, man. And I had fun. Appreciate you having me on. Maybe we'll get to do it again sometime.
Would love to have you, man. We'll maybe have you on about midpoint of the season, just see how things are going and catch up and kind of see how everything's panning out there, man. Can't wait to do that. And, man, have a great season, dude. You're going to kill it. And we can't be more excited for you, man. We truly feel that way. So, go do what you do best, man. And we'll be watching and have fun doing it. Because if you ain't having fun, there ain't no sense in living. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, buddy. That's right.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, man. We'll catch up soon.
Yep. Thank you, Chase. Great seeing you too, friend.
That is Red Lick, Texas. I almost said Red Lick, Texas racer because I'm used to saying that for Aaron and Adam Roy, but it's Red Lick, Texas broadcast announcer Chase Lollar rolling away into the Red Lick night there. I almost asked him his opinions about Volusia, but, I figured we could wrap it up there. We'll maybe have him on and talk about some other super late model stuff at another time. So, man, hey, that was he was really good. Like I didn't expect him to be bad, by any means, but like he was full of information. And like Chase really is a really good friend of mine. I talk to him every single day. He's really become a good friend. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell y'all anyway, who cares? Like, I know I wasn't going to get too deep off into the weeds about things that we've been through, because it's no sense in me talking about his business. Right. And I'm not going to do that, but, I have talked about my business on here and people are aware of that. But, the very first person that reached out to me when I got out of rehab was Chase Lollar. Like, which I'll be honest, I had quite a few messages in my phone, but, my ex-girlfriend had told me, that, hey, Chase Lollar was trying to, he had no idea that you were in rehab, right? Well, she said that he'd sent some, and he wrote me a letter when I was in there, dude, because he had been through a lot of the things that I'd been through. And man, I'll never forget that. And I'll always have so much love and respect for that, because when you're sitting in there and you think nobody loves or cares about you, I mean, not necessarily, you got family and people that love you from afar, but yeah, man, it meant a lot. It really did. So, anyhow, do we call Volusia this week Nick Hoffman week? I'm not real sure. I don't think that his week was as dominant as the one that Shane Clanton had down at Volusia. I think maybe back in 2015 or 2020. I can't remember the year exactly.
15.
But either way, Nick Hoffman did win 3 features. Or 4, was it 4 total? Because he won one of the 3. Was it Brandon Overton won on Monday night? Huddy won Tuesday. Hoffman won Wednesday. And then he won one of the 3 as well. And then one on Thursday, and Brandon Shepard won the finale on Saturday night. And Hoffman won the Big Gator Championship. On Saturday night of the finale, Bobby Pierce up 17 spots to finish in second. Maybe if he had another lap, Cortland, who knows what happens there. It looked like he had the fastest car on the racetrack. But, man, Brandon Shepard just got it done for Rocket 1 on Saturday night. Kind of what was your overall thoughts leaving Volusia?
Like you said, you can call it the Nick Hoffman show, and he obviously won the Big Gator Championship. He obviously did the best all throughout the week, right? And but it was a very good Volusia. It was probably the best Volusia that we've seen in a couple of years. That new dirt they brought in, I think it was the midway through last year, and obviously it turned around and was really, really good. Just from Monday and Tuesday, 76 of Brandon Overton, he was on his hot streak there. He won that Monday. Then Hudson O'Neal kept things clicking on there on that Tuesday, and then my favorite night of the week. Let me get that straight. My favorite night of the week is that Wednesday night where they split the fields up into 3 different features. And I know some people don't like it because you got 3 different winners and you don't know who the best one is, but I'm a big fan of it just simply because you got 60 guys there, or there was an average of about 58 cars there every single night, and everybody got to run a feature on Wednesday night. But then it also on that Wednesday night, you produce winners like a Michael Leach, who picks up his first ever super late model win at Volusia on one of the biggest stages of all of racing. And you got Michael Leach up there, absolutely pumped about it. And the kid has done phenomenal behind the wheel. Like, he stepped out last year, raced a whole lot. I think they said like he went to 40 racetracks he had never seen before last year. So if that doesn't tell you he didn't beat up and down the road and earn his stripes last year, then he deserves this, And then Turbo wins. Hoffman started his hot streak on that Wednesday night. He wins Thursday and Friday as well. And then Sheppy caps it off. Just Volusia just raced so well. And you mentioned about BP32 storming through the field. I think between Friday and Saturday night in the feature races, he had to pass 35 plus cars between the two. Like, he passed 18 on Friday night and passed 17 on Saturday. And of course, he was up there doing BP32 things. He could run the cushion like no other, and just get a monstrous run, and then like essentially slide himself and keep speed in 3 and 4. But the Rocket One goes out there, and that's kind of one of their places. It's very rare that you leave Volusia, even in a world that we say is dominated by Longhorns, and there's probably isn't but 3 Rockets in the field. That Rocket One's going to find a way to win some shape or fashion at Volusia. They're just that's just one of their tried and true places. Kind of like East Bay, right? Like East Bay and Volusia, that Rocket One's going to find a way to win some shape or fashion. But it's just a really good weekend, and what a way to start off, late model speed weeks, this whole brigade, or the early season, whatever you want to call it, right? I mean, you got Hudson, you got Brandon Overton on a hot streak, Nick Hoffman's on a hot streak, Brandon Shepard wins, and we leave Volusia, and BP32 and 20 RT haven't won a race at Volusia like that. I know they both won one out at Wild West Shootout, but they didn't win any at Volusia. So it's just one of those deals we talk about. Sometimes the repetitiveness and the same people always win, and we're like, man, we got some new people that are on some hot streaks right now. So it's really cool, man. Volusia was awesome. Racing was phenomenal. I know I kind of blabbered on here for a minute, but just to kind of give my recap of it, it really got me excited for the year, right? Like they say, the dirt late model world's a better place when Tim McCready's winning, right? Well, it's also a better place when Brandon Overton's winning, because you're guaranteed a good sound bite here or there throughout the night. So we're on a good pace, man. Dirt late model racing, like you said, we get kicked off here at All Tech. I think you said that beginning of the show here this week in Hendry County with the World of Outlaw late models. We're just shaping up. It's going to be interesting to see how these next couple weeks go.
Yeah, whether it's a modified or a late model, I mean, Nick Hoffman has just proven over time that he is just really good at Volusia, right? And oftentimes when you see a driver that performs well at Volusia and a modified, that does translate over, into the late model. We've seen it go back and forth over the years, right? RTJ's had some pretty solid success. I wouldn't say it's his best racetrack by any means. Matter of fact, he's headed to, I would say, one of his best racetracks this weekend. I know RTJ's good at a lot of different racetracks, but the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series will head to All Tech Raceway this weekend, which really just produces some badass racing for a big racetrack, does it not? I mean, All Tech just seemingly time and time again puts on good races. I mean, once in a while you may get a lockdown race, but I mean, it's very abnormal for that to happen. And I have been super impressed with that place. I remember the first time they went to All Tech, I was like, oh, look at this big son of a gun. You know what I mean? Like, how well is this thing going to race? But what I've learned and what I've found out over time is that, man, like, when I hear people talk bad about a racetrack, Cortland, or they see that, I'll say, well, let's see what super late models would look like on it. Because, like, that you can get the good out of your racetrack when you put the best possible drivers on your surface, right? And I think that, like, that's kind of what we'll see out of Hendry County this weekend, right? World of Outlaws goes there for the first time, and I don't think anybody has a clue of what to expect. Like, you wonder, is Nick Hoffman going to keep up this hot streak that he's got going on? But I think he even said in one of his interviews, like, we don't know how we're going to be next weekend at Hendry County, so it's a damn good thing we got off such to a hot start here at Volusia so we can try to carry some of this momentum in. But I mean, like I said, Turbo 1-1, Michael Leach is kind of a good parity week of racing at Volusia. So this weekend, we got them split. And this is only going to happen one time throughout Speed Weeks. And you've heard Michael Rigsby, Flow Racing general manager, has spoken on this. He's not a fan of it. He thinks that we race, all the time throughout the year, and we're going to race on top of each other. That's the first time in Speed Weeks they've raced on top of each other. Maybe outside. I think Screven with the World of Outlaws may have ran against them several years ago, but it's been a little while since they have. But with the departure of East Bay, which we've talked about several times over the last few weeks, the Speed Weeks is just trying to find its groove. They're trying to get something going. Well, the World of Outlaws scheduled their races at Hendry County this weekend, which is like 4 hours south of Volusia, which is wild to think. That track is pretty far south. And you've also got Lucas Oil taking place at All Tech. So the fields are going to be split this weekend. Do you hate it? Do you love it? What are your thoughts on this?
I'll go against the grain. I love it. I think it should happen. Yep. I'm a fan for it, just for the simple fact of,
It's going to happen eventually anyway, right?
It's going to happen eventually anyway. And here's the bottom line. You don't need all 60 of them dudes to show up at a racetrack to put on a good show. And if both racetracks can make this happen, this is the one chance a year that Hendry County is going to get a chance to run World of Outlaw late models, because never again are they going to make them drive that far south into Florida to race. And if this is their one chance to make it happen, then let them make it happen. I'm a fan for it because we don't have to worry about a 30-car field with provisionals, emergency provisionals, owner series championship points, all that stuff. Like, we don't have to worry about no 30-car field down there like we've had at Volusia a couple nights, just because there's so many people and they got to get you got to give your series guys the provisionals. Whether you hate it, you love it. It's one of those deals. If they sign up to do it and they beat up and down the road, yes, they get an emergency provision. I know some people absolutely hate it. I'm just one that if somebody's going to follow the whole tour, you're going to have a bad night every once in a while. But I also like it because you split it up and you know exactly who's going where. There's no split decision being made in April. Like, you know exactly where everybody's going to go, and you just got to get a clearer picture of the whole deal. And I'm very much more late model racing, the better, right? You said it's 4 hours south of Volusia. If they can pack out and have a good night at Hendry County and pack it out and have a good night at Alltech, then what are we hurting here? What you just want all the eyes on one race? Like, still the only thing going on right now is dirt late model racing. You're either going to be tuned in on Dirt Vision or you're going to be tuned in on Flow. And then what we all love here, especially here on the podcast, we'll get through this next weekend, and then we get to debate if Nick Hoffman goes and wins all of his races at Hendry County and Hudson O'Neal goes and wins all the races at Alltech. Then we get to debate, well, who really is the best, right? You get to throw more stuff out there. I don't know. I'm just the one that, not that, like, we all love 60 cars in the pit area and we all love seeing the best together, but we got that for a whole week. Okay. And then if we want to see some more of it, if the Outlaws guys want to catch Ocala the following week after and run some of that, they can. If not, you split them up. Nobody, as long as both places have a packed out crowd, like I said, this is probably the one chance a year that Hendry County is going to get to put on a World of Outlaws race. If they can, in Alltech, they get their Lucas Oil races. If both places can pack it out and the grandstands are full and people are happy, then what's there to be mad about it? Because, I mean, last time I checked, a lot of these guys ain't going to be mad about going to a show and only having to beat 10 or 12 cars to make the feature, not having to outrun 38 of them to make a feature.
Yeah, from a driver's perspective, I think the drivers like it, right? Like, and plus, potentially it takes money out of one of those guys' pocket. I mean, not for the guys that have a provisional, but I mean, as far as just being able to race their way in and not have to rely on a provisional, which, hey, people all talk about participation trophy. Like, nobody's trying to make anything easier for anybody, but I mean, these guys are going to be split anyway at some point down the road. And that's just how the cookie crumbled this year. I'm not so sure that it's going to be that way going into the future, kind of like you said. But dude, the World of Outlaws Late Model Series has 18 committed full-time drivers this year. Dude, that is a lot. 18 full-time drivers on a national super late model tour. I don't know how many the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series is going to have this year, but I don't think it's going to be upwards of around 18, but it will be a solid field nonetheless. I mean, I'm sure they'll have over 10 committed drivers full-time. But yeah, you'll have a good idea of what to expect going forward after this weekend, right? Like, we'll have a really good idea. And, I was going to ask you, who is your number one dirt late model driver or ranked dirt late model driver right now? I feel like it's probably Nick Hoffman. I mean, Pierce has that one win on the finale at and Wild West Shootout, and he showed a lot of speed, but he only has one win in 20 starts this year. Hoffman, I think if we're going to go off of sheer dominance, has he really dominated yet, though? I mean, it was Volusia. Like, we know he's really, can we say Nick Hoffman dominated Volusia? Sure, but let's just wait and see. Let's wait and see. Let's come back to this in 3 or 4 weeks and see where we're at. I think Nick Hoffman's going to have a great year. We said it. Like, we think he's either going to win the Dream of the World. I think Michael Rigsby even probably said that. And I'm not stealing his quote. I truly feel like he's going to have a good season. But let's come back. Let's put a pin in it, and let's see what it's like after we get a couple of races in our belt here, not at Volusia Speedway Park.
Yeah. If you're asking me number one driver right now, and I know this may bark up the wrong tree, like, Hoffman's good at Volusia. Like, he's good at Volusia, and I'm going to throw that into my thinking. Like, there's no doubt about it. If you show up in a super late model race, at Volusia, you're going to have to beat the NOS energy drink, Papa NOS, because he's going to be there, right? Dude,
he's going 76.
I said it. No, I ain't going 76 neither, because I'm not saying he struggled. Oh, we're coming. Okay. We're coming in. Bruh,
Oh,
Hudson
yes,
O'Neal.
agreed.
I'm telling you, don't sleep on the kid. He ain't a kid. That dude's a man, and he can wheel a super late model. That's all I got to tell you, friend. Because if you're asking me, I gotta go with Huddy, dude. Just what he did at Wild West Shootout, and then coming to Volusia, he won a night, and then he ended up finishing third on Saturday. 76 ran good after he won as well. But man, I just feel like that Hudson O'Neal, that SSI ride, he's got Durham on the wrenches, man. He's done really, really, really well so far this year, and he's done it at 2 different racetracks. You know, that's the only reason I'm giving it to him right now. You gotta go out there and show that you can get it done in more than one place. Can Nick Hoffman go and get it done in more than one place? For sure. He'll probably show up to Hendry County, and from what people tell me, Hendry County is not the greatest racetrack in the world. Like you said, put super late models on it. We'll find out. Nick Hoffman might go down to Hendry County and absolutely lap the field because he showed up to a bunch of different places in a modified and done the exact same thing with the, you know, like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's a deal. Like Hendry County, they say it's a loose, sandy, kind of got maybe has some rocks in it. And I'm like, well, that's a Summer Nationals, Nick Hoffman going there and lap up the 3rd place type of track, you know, like Hoffman can go to Hendry County and dominate. And then I will completely flip my script come next week. And don't say like I'm going back and forth, but for right now, sitting here on September, boy, I said September. I mean, February. I don't know why I said September. Lord have mercy. Where did I come up with that?
We could have all the opinions in the world, but like it's just our opinions at the end, you know, at the end of the day. And it's too early in the year to really speculate. But again, this is a podcast. We're here to have fun. We're here to talk about these kind of things. But dude, I think we need a little bit more time here. And there was something else in my mind that just fleeted me. That happens every once in a while. I hate when that happens. I'll try to find it again here in just a second. But nonetheless, dude, it's going to be a great year for super late model racing for both tours. 18 full timers, World of Outlaws. We'll see what the Lucas Oil Series has. JD's going to be independent this year, right? He's going to pop in and steal some money. He's going to have his cape flying into the wind. Turbo's back on the Outlaws full time. Josh Rice is a full timer. Hey, by the way, Josh Rice started turning the wick up a little bit better towards the end of the week, man. He started finding a good bit of speed. I saw you had your hand up there. What else do you have?
I was just going to say on the Hudson O'Neal deal, I had this little stat wrote down because just in case this conversation came up, I was ready. Hudson O'Neal has 4 wins this year. Nick Hoffman has 3. So if that, I mean, we're just going to go ahead and Hudson O'Neal has 4, Nick Hoffman has 3. And I think, you know, you could slip the Overton in there. I might put Overton over Hoffman. I'm not no dirt late model expert. Nobody is, because this stuff changes every single day. But that was one stat I wanted to add. Huddy's got 4 wins, 2 at the crap.
Yeah.
He's got 3 wins. Sorry. I messed that up. Does he got 3 or 4? I thought I had that wrote down. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
I just went off.
Either way.
I went off the rip
I
there.
trust
yeah.
You. I trust you. Either way. It could be quickly corrected.
Oh, he's got 4. He's got 4. Yeah, I was 4. right. 2 at Wild West and 2 at Volusia. I was right.
Never question it. Yeah.
Never question it. Never question it, bud.
Never questioned it. Hey, I agree with you. I mean, to do it in 2 different cars, and by the end of the Volusia, I mean, he had the 71 car honking. I mean, the 71 was certainly honking into the wind. So, yeah, he had something cooking there. Just as soon as our local racing starts getting kicked off here, folks, you'll hear us talk in depth about, you know, the racing that's going on around here locally. We just haven't had a chance to talk about any of it. So you guys have heard a pretty good spill. I know we always talk about national dirt late model racing because we love it and we're passionate about it. So we'll continue to always talk about that. But just as soon as we get some local checkered flags dropped, we will indeed talk about some of that local racing that takes place because we love that too. And go ahead.
I'm back. I lost you there for a second. I'm glad you got a good set of lungs on you. You can keep on talking. But I do want to mention, talk about local racing. One of our local guys that is become a very big name around here, Dalton Faulkner, went down to Hendry County this past weekend for a 23,000 to win factory stock race and made the show. It was kind of one of them show up, run what you brung with your factory stock rules. You know, they got about 8 rules that you have to follow, but it's show up with your track rules. And the man was up to second and had to pull off due to overheating. So I don't know if he was wrapping up, Zach, if we were about to rip on out of here, but I do want to give a shout out to Daff. You talk about local racers. The dude drove like 15 something hours to get down to Hendry County and run I think it was 23,000 win factory stock race down there. And he was up to second, and there's some hog legs down up there. Like some of them factor stocks are they got some they some hog legs. Let's just put it like that. Not that our factor stocks around here ain't sleeping on nobody by no means, but to go down there and to show out, that just kind of shows the aptitude of what the factor stocks are around here, man. A really good showing for Daff down there. Hate that he had to pull off running second there, but just want to give a shout out for a good run from him.
Yeah, that's great. And also, I'm glad you brought that up because, and for whatever reason, my producer texted me. He said vMix froze, which is the program that we use to do this podcast. He said he couldn't hear us either, and that was really odd. So, yeah, I just pray to God that nothing else happened there, and as long as it all recorded, we're good. But yeah, anyway, I mentioned the Rocket Shakedown. If you guys didn't hear it, Rocket. We also got the spring kickoff February the 27th to 28th, both Friday and Saturday night at Kennedale Speedway Park and Arclitect Speedway in Vivian, Louisiana. The land of the 3-wide opens up their season as well on February the 28th. And of course, we got the Revival Super Dirt Late Model Series for the Rodney Adams Memorial at Boot Hill Speedway in Greenwood, Louisiana, March 6th and 7th, along with I-37 Speedway for the Redneck Stress Relief down on March 6th and 7th. All those races, you can catch them live on RaceON.com. Man, I don't really have anything else tonight. That little glitch right there kind of scared me a little bit. It's about to scare me out of here. So Chase was good tonight, man. I'm glad we had him on. And I texted him and I was like, "Hey, dude, you did a great job." And he messaged me. He said, "Dude, that was fun as F," is what he said. I think a lot of times we like when you get in here and you start talking and all that, and you really start talking racing. And sometimes when we get done, like me and you and I will even like that was pretty fun tonight. You know what I mean? Like that was pretty cool. So that's why we do it, folks. We don't, we come here because we just like talking. We like talking racing anyway. I don't like talking about stuff that don't really matter. It matters to me. So.
It saves my old lady from having to hear me talk about it all week long.
Well,
I save all my stuff from here. You know what I mean? I don't call her on a Tuesday night and bother her for an hour and a half. I get on here, and for some reason, our four listeners that make it this far into the podcast, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week. Friend.
Hey, I can tell you for sure that it's more than that. I can tell you that.
It's more than that,
because even on YouTube, like YouTube is our least amount of views because like our podcast comes out directly on RaceON every week, and most people listen to it through there, or they just listen. They don't watch us. They just listen on Spotify or iHeart or Apple or wherever they get their podcast. I personally use Castbox. For anybody that's looking for a new app, Castbox is awesome. I mean, if you can get around the ads, but the way it's set up, look at this. Like, look at the way everything is set up. Like, all the apps are I just love the way it's so set up. It's very nice. But those are all my pods. Look, where's Clark After Dark on here? We can't find it, but it's on here somewhere. There it is, right there. See? Right yonder. Here we go, right there. But yeah, Castbox, great app. Y'all be sure to listen to us or watch us. We do appreciate everybody's support. That was a long way of getting out of here to say we do truly appreciate y'all's support. We hope you enjoyed this one tonight, episode 72. Clark After Dark, we'll see you at Hunt County Raceway this Saturday night to kick off the season live and direct on RaceON.com. Be blessed and be a blessing. Hugs and hand pounds. We'll see you
later.